Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is all about a massive potential 300% move for ticker symbol EGLD Elrond MultiversX. We're going to be taking a deep dive into the risk to reward in the market at the minute and take a little look at the liquidity grabs in the market that could potentially be coming up, outlining a couple of detailed exits and entries into the market with a very specific detailed profit taking plan for the moves to the upside for EGLD. So guys, if you like the video, give it a like. Any comments and subscriptions, of course, always appreciated. Let's get straight into it. So to add a little bit of context to the chart here, we're just starting out on the monthly time frame and just outlining here, look at what we've got going on. We've been really traveling in a bit of a straight line in the market for about a year now, 12 whole months of what seems to be accumulation, with this final month coming below the range low and breaking back into the range. So what I think we've got going on here is again a bit of Wyckoff accumulation like what we're seeing in the rest of the market. We've just seen it play out on Bitcoin Cash. So when we're talking about 12-month accumulation zones, we're not just talking about little deep dips here and then going for a big move. We're not talking about little retracements back to the upside. We are talking about major players in the market entering the market using every strategy possible to build their position into the market over a 12-month period. Are these people just going to be looking for 10-20%? No, I think these people are going to be looking for major, at least a 300% move, like what we've seen with Bitcoin Cash now coming up to a 200% move, potentially looking for them liquidity grabs all the way at the top of these big monthly breaker candles to the downside. Exactly the same techniques as what we're always looking at. So what we're going to do is just take a deep dive into the liquidity that's been taken into the market and the potential liquidity grabs that are going to be taken to the upside, closing out those shorts for the market makers. So when taking into account liquidity in the market, we are going to keep it on the monthly time frame. We're going to keep this measured and precise, but the first thing you will note is after the big drop in the market, we had two reactions to the upside, one to the downside, one to the upside, setting a major range within this liquidity here for EGLD. And you can see since then we came below the range, trapped a lot of traders here, made some equal lows down here, came back into the range, creating stop losses below this range here. And this final month that we've just seen that closes in 10 hours has just come in and taken this liquidity and closed back in the range. So it's a great sign for EGLD, and you know what we've got potentially here is a free drive to the downside, 1, 2, 3 hits to the low. It's what we always like to see with the big bullish breaker candle fills, closing back within the range, potentially just looking at the market maker here, filling orders, closing out shorts, filling them final orders. And the shape traders would potentially even look at this as a descending structure that we've broken out of, retested the range, and that also gives you a little bit of a setup for a potential liquidity grab next month. If we was to get one final extra dip, you've even got another range down there at around $27 to $28. So I think if you're looking for an entry at an even lower level that we potentially could get next month, $27 to $28 is going to be the range that you're going to be looking for. But for now, with this most recent monthly close in 10 hours, it's looking really good. What we could potentially expect next month if we don't get that final dip down is at least another little retest of this liquidity line here to create a potential inverse head and shoulder structure that the targets to the upside are going to be the top of these liquidity ranges up here, which is our next major target. So let's talk a little bit about those upper ranges. If we are to expect this to be an accumulation range, the market makers and the orders that have been filled down at the lows as people are panic selling are going to be looking to be capitalized on. For people to sell, the market makers are going to need to be buying, and for those buys they're going to want at least I think 100% move back to the top of this range, which is what we've seen already with some other altcoins like Bitcoin Cash, and I'm not too sure. I think there's a couple of other altcoins that have done the same thing as well, and a couple of others that are setting up exactly the same as EGLD here. One thing that we need to be careful of here with EGLD is, as with the rest of the market, we are coming up to a major monthly close. And as with monthly closes, we are going to probably get a lot of shenanigans coming into the market up and around here. I would expect, you know, these ranges to be manipulated on the lower time frame as the monthly candle close comes into play, with the weekly candle close coming as well in a couple of days. So I don't think now potentially is the best time to be entering a trade, but now is the time to be monitoring these charts and setting out these zones where you want to be entering the market. So I think the first entry that I'm going to be looking for EGLD is at around $32, and then looking for next month for that final potential liquidity grab at around $27 to $28. So entries are going to be $27, $28 and $32. I'm not looking for leverage here, I'm just looking for spot positions, so it makes it a nice and easy trade. Sit back, relax, let the market do the work. Then our focus turns to the upside with potential Fibonacci's coming into play from the range high to the potential low. We're going to take it to the range low. Don't want to take it to that wick there. Look for the 702, and you can see that comes in at the top of these big bullish candles. So that's going to be the first major profit taking zone, which is going to be a potential. Let's have a look at that for a trade. 80% move. If you are using leverage, that could be a lot more, but if you're using spot positions, 80% to get your initial investment out, then look for the major higher time frame targets to the upside would be a perfect plan. So that is going to be the first major trade entry and exit. Specific plan here for EGLD: entries between 27 and 32, exit between 59 and 57, and your potential setups and percentages that you want to mark out here are going to be totally up to you. But for me, for an 80% move, if you want to take out maybe 60% of that initial investment to maybe take all of that initial investment back and then leave 40% in the market to ride to the upside risk-free, I don't think that's a bad idea at all. Of course, everyone has different risk tolerances, but of course, using the negative 27% here on the Fibonacci, you've also got another entry there at $22 to $23. So let's change that to having another entry at around $22 to $23. 22 to 23. We are talking spot here, so these ranges can be quite wide and various. We don't have to use leverage here for these big major moves, but if you was to get that move from down at the negative 27% back to the range high, you're talking a major 200% all the way to the 1.618 up at these liquidity levels, like what we've seen with Bitcoin Cash. You're talking 300%, so you could add there on your exit there up and around. That's around $97 there for EGLD. That's another potential exit zone for a potential nice percentage, 327% move there. So using these ranges and taking these ranges into account, you can set out your own plan, set out your own entries, set out your own exits to the upside. This is going to be my plan, using different percentages at different points in the chart as we move down and as we move to the upside. Of course, with any trade, it is important to have an invalidation. I would say probably your invalidation, maybe for me, is going to be below that 27%. So looking to be able to risk somewhat of a 40% drop in the market. Am I willing to risk that for the major potential 300% move to the upside? And I absolutely am. So that's what you have to take into account. Get your psychology in play, get your psychology straight first before entering this trade. Set out your risk parameters and your plan for the entries and to the exits. But for anyone who likes to keep it simple like myself, let's just take an overview look at the monthly time frame and have a little look at what's going on here. We've got a potential zone here where the market is hovering around for a potential entry. If you are filling bids, I think this is going to be the zone you want to be filling bids. If you're just wanting to sit back, relax, not really look to take profit too early, I think the next major zone you want to be looking at is this higher time frame key breakdown level, which is again going to be a potential from the middle of that zone. You're still talking 300-400% here for EGLD if you do want to just sit back, relax, fill the bids at the lows and sell the highs, with not bothering too much around this big choppy range here, not really looking to take back your initial investment straight away, just looking for that higher time frame big swing in the market. And I think that's a potential big 300-400% opportunity there for the people who are just wanting to fill them spot bids at the lows in this zone. So I think overall here for EGLD MultiversX, we are looking at a really nice risk to reward in the market, looking to sit back, relax, let the market do the work, using Fibonacci's from the candle monthly closes to the low range. We're looking at a potential You know, these are even just 23% retracements to the upside, offering massive opportunities to these ranges. If we was to get an even bigger retracement to the upside, which is not too out of the ordinary, 618702, you are looking again at even bigger percentages here that we're not even mapping out, because this doesn't even matter. All we need is a big 300% move to be able to benefit, and 100% to take our initial investment out. But if you're looking for a higher risk play, the 702 retracement is 800% to the upside. But even on a lower time frame, looking at this accumulation range, if we was to work this range for a couple of years, we'd be looking at the 23% retrace to the upside. Candle body closes offers a real nice key level here. $113 probably going to be a nice other zone that you want to mark out on your charts if you are looking for a higher potential play to the upside. So, but overall, risk to reward here looking really, really nice for EGLD. But you know, we could just fire straight from here to the upside for them bigger retracements, and you might ask, well, why would you take profit in this range that you're talking about, Ryan, on the lower time frame? And it's because in the altcoins, I've seen altcoins do this, where you work this range for 2 or 3 years, something like that, where you work the top, work the bottom, go out, take lows. These are potential scenarios, so you don't want to just be leaving everything on the table. What I would say is set them profit take zones. You don't want to be selling everything, but you don't want to be selling nothing, because if we was to go break those lows again, like we've seen with other altcoins in the past, or come back to the bottom of the range, you want that fresh capital to be able to enter the market to be able to benefit from those higher time frame year-long swings to the upside, which I do think is coming for EGLD. We could go to new all-time highs, but don't really want to discuss that possibility yet, because on the lower time frame we don't need all-time highs. All we need is 300, 400% moves compounded with 300 and 700% moves in other altcoins. We don't need those major crazy gains that people want to expect and be able to get rich overnight. So, of course, it's not financial advice from me. It's never financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But again, if you like the video, give it a like. Any comments, appreciated. Subscriptions. Let's get to that 1,000 mark next month. Let's try and make that our target. And yeah, guys, sit back, relax, let the market do the work. And I'll see you next time. Cheers.